going back to what we've been talking about, which is basically what happened in this state at this last election, and the election before that, and the election before that, and so on, kind of like the Fabergé commercial. Tom Wesley's going to do an essay for us and put out his thoughts, and then we're going to come back and we're going to start that roundtable all over again.
Good to be back. This one's entitled On Our Future State. When it comes to Republican politics, it's generally acknowledged that Massachusetts is a little lopsided. Registered Democrats outnumber registered Republicans by a factor of 3 to 1. Historically speaking, Republicans have not fared well in elections held in Massachusetts. According to recent analysis, the Republicans sport a worse one-loss record over the last decade than the 62 Mets. True conservatives within the Republican Party fare even worse. There is the occasional governor, to be sure, but none in recent years have been the beacons of conservative thought. The constitutional offices of Secretary of State, Auditor, and Treasurer have long been in the hands of the Democrats. And really, there is no such thing as a conservative Democrat in Massachusetts. By any national standard, most of our conservative Republicans could qualify as card-carrying members of the other side in states such as Texas. Still, whenever a solid Republican candidate is fielded, they seem to capture about 43% of the vote. In the recent special election for U.S. Senate, Gabriel Gomez actually received 45%. Was that because of poor turnout, or did the campaign actually reach a few more voters? Gomez did better in some cities than did Scott Brown last time out. Brown got smoked almost 3 to 1 in Springfield, for instance. Gomez lost by a factor of 2 to 1. Progress? For all of the hype about the new Republican Gomez claimed to be, the fact that he beseeched Governor Duval Patrick to be the choice for interim senator, the fact that he repudiated Republican positions on gun control, immigration reform, and abortion, and the fact that Gomez was a first-generation American of Colombian parents who did not speak English until 5 years old. The numbers tell us that he may have shaken loose only 2% more votes. Did I mention that he was a Navy SEAL? The problem was less that Gomez was running on a resume that did not include political experience. Many people pined for that. The problem was that he was running without political positions that would distinguish him from the opponent. This was an issueless campaign, so why not vote for the guy who you can count upon to be a hardcore liberal who will deliver on every vote rather than a softcore liberal who might surprise you when predictability counts. We are in the 5th year of the Great Recession. We have not even recovered the lost jobs from 2008-2009, no less created opportunity at the rate of 125,000 jobs per month necessary to sustain our economy. Our foreign policy is in shambles. The Middle East is on fire, and the administration, with the complicity of some Republican senators, pour fire on the situation by arming rebels who have no love for the United States. Vladimir Putin lectures us on world affairs and outmaneuvers us in the United Nations. So, what do we talk about in the great Senate special election? Toilet bowls, absentee representation, reaching across the aisle to be more Catholic than the Pope, and arithmetic rather than math. We deserved a better campaign. The problems with the Gomez campaign belie the fact that the major political parties are in cahoots. They exist to preserve the status quo. Discussing the size of the government is like arguing over how many angels can dance on the head of a pin. When the music stops, all that matters is that there is a narrative that the players can manipulate to their advantage so as to maintain their seat. Is being a member of Congress so satisfying that a person wishes to do it for 30 or 40 years or even more? I think that the satisfaction of the role ultimately becomes secondary to the power that it brings, to the egotistical nature of the incumbency. Humans have a preservation instinct, and politicians have a highly refined sense of self-preservation. So where does that leave us poor constituents? What are we to do in a world where left and right collude to find good old boy and girl network of backslapping colleagues who pontificate and bellow, but who don't really stand for anything, except re-election, that is? We know what the answer is. We have seen this coming for a long time. We have seen it at least since the advent of the Tea Party, since the beginning of a group of people whose only ambition was to ask one simple question: why? And one more follow-on: please explain this to me. And what have we gotten from our efforts is to be vilified and investigated and instigated and infiltrated and demeaned and demonized. The Democrats cannot have us, and the Republicans will not have us. The time for a third party is upon us now, and I fear it may well be too late. Press on.
Thanks, Tom. Brian, what do you think?
Well, I think Tom hits a lot of great points there about the campaign, about the candidate, about the lack of strategy, the lack of conviction.